Hello everyone, my name is Louis and today I'll be showing you how to create more professional lighting setup using a free add-on called LeoMoon LightStudio. So the first step is of course to install the add-on. So under edit then preference, I'm just going to go to the add-on section and let me just erase that and I'll press the install button. Look for the LeoMoon LightStudio master zip file. You can find the link in the description. It's a GitHub page, then you just download the code, very easy. So I'll just install that right away. And yeah, it was already installed, so I don't need, but you should just have one of those two. If you have both, just check them. Then the next step is to actually start using the add-on. And for that, I will use a car, of course. So I will just type PL in the Blender Kit search bar and I'll just spawn this car, for example. I will hide the base mesh. Okay, now using cycles, you can use the EV, I would assume it will work. You can just create lighting studio. That's what you're going to need to do. I already created one in this file, so for me it's already created, but for you, you will have the create instead of delete button. Once that is done, you will go under the Profile tab and press the little plus button. This will create an empty object, and this will be the center point of the lights. So basically, all our lights using this add-on will pivot around this, okay? So this is quite important, and let me just show you right away. So I will add a new light. By default, it's a softbox, so just basically a plane that is subdivided a bit with bevels, like you can see here, and with a gradient on it. So it's very useful and much better than the basic area lights, in my opinion, for most of the time. And using the S or the G buttons on your keyboard, you can just scale the light on certain axes or just move it around. So that's the basic functionality of the add-on and how to place the lights. You can go into the more basic tab, although I never really used it. It will just basically turn them into area lamps. But if you don't want the softbox and for example you want a more like, I don't know, defined light, you can use a variety of presets like here. For example, you can even have a window. And what I really like about this add-on is the capability of creating masks within it. So if, for example, I don't want the right side or the left side of my car to be lit, I can just go here and go, for example, mask left to right and slide this over. So very, very powerful function here. And the second most used feature for me is probably the gradient switch. So it will just make the gradient more apparent, if you will. Like I can show you with this circle. So very sharp, because you can see here. And I will just kind of blur the side of the lamp. So it's a very powerful feature. So you have a more smoother transitions between your lights. And that's the basic functionality. Of course, you can just play with the color, which is also another nice feature. And by default, when you spawn a lamp, it will be like 30 meters away. So don't be scared. Like if you say, hey, I just spawned a lamp and it doesn't do anything, or I just see this tiny white spot, well, bring it closer. I usually try to bring it to like 10 meters or so, just so I can see the lamp better and where it is. And then I will place it around. So that's it for the add-on overview. And now I'll show you how I would light this car as best as I can with this add-on. Okay, so we have our profile created. I will now add a lamp. I will keep this softbox like here, like so. I will place it behind the car, just like this, and use the gradient switch. Now what I want to do is just have a bit of light going through the window. I think this always looks pretty cool. And then I will create another softbox that will come place over here. And now this is way too harsh for me. So I'll try to maybe light it this way. And you can see how easy it is to like iterate with different options and just play with different mood. Much easier than with just standard area lights, in my opinion. So I'll just try to light the whole side of the car pretty evenly. Then maybe want to get this spot, because we can see that it goes here, but then with the curvature of the bumper, I lose it. So I'll try to get this area lit up. One feature I wish it had would be light painting. So basically be able to point at an area and then like be created that will light this area. I think that would just be quite awesome and like make this add-on truly complete. But it's already very good as is, and it's free, so I cannot complain. So just like so. And then maybe one for the rear bumper, but already it's looking pretty good to me. Yeah, if you want to play with the strength, you can use the intensity or the exposure sliders. I personally find that the intensity gives you a bit more control than the exposure. Sorry, my pronunciation is quite shit today. For example, if I just bump the exposure, you can see it gets very bright and very quickly, while the intensity is a bit more gradual. And that's pretty much it, how I would light this car. And you can see that it was very easy, in under like, I don't know, 2 minutes maybe. I created this setup. It's quite professional, I would say. And if you turn around the car, it always, well, not always. It still looks decent. Of course, you may need to place other lights. And if you add, for example, a few camera angles that you always use, what I would do is create another profile or duplicate it. For example, here, I would just like do copy profile, and then I can just start moving around the lights so that they look good for this angle. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I light most of my scenes now if I don't use an HDRI. You can use this with an HDRI in complement. For example, me, I use one very subtle, like the strength is 0.01. Just to have like a base of shading and not just have a pure black environment. But that's pretty much it, and I hope I helped you with this setup and that you will use it for your projects. Hold up, don't leave yet. Have you liked the video? If not, just go to it, and if you really enjoyed it, why not subscribe?